pywce. So, as you know, pywce is a library that is a template-driven WhatsApp chatbot library that enables you to create chatbots using a template-driven approach. So today we are going to look at WhatsApp flows. So in the previous video, we had a stage-based chatbot where using looking at this is the flow that we previously had. We are like 8 stages here that we're going to do. This was more of like a USSD approach. So we're asking user for the input one by one. But this is where we want to go. We want to use a flow-based approach. So we want to come from this end to this end. This is what we should end up having. So if you can see, this is a minimalized process flow. So what you're going to use today, WhatsApp flows. So WhatsApp flows, from the definition of WhatsApp flow is a way to build structured interactions for business messaging. So for me, I like to look at WhatsApp flows as mobile application screens within WhatsApp itself. So this gives you a very clear way of collecting information from the user. Take them like Google Forms, for example. But they have this rich interaction that you can include. So if you look at this sites, if you look at the documentation from WhatsApp, they have this detailed demonstration that you can see. So, looking at WhatsApp flows, you can see if we look for the reference for WhatsApp flows, they have what are called flow components. Because WhatsApp flows, they're just JSON. So the screen is made up of these JSON fields, and these JSON fields, each field is a component. Think of them like widgets. If I use two frameworks like Qt or Flutter, so these are components in they're more like HTML components. So you have text components. You can change how your text will be rendered. For example, you want a heading, you want a smaller heading. Also, you have drop downs. So it gives you a whole lot of components. And the good thing is documentation is quite extensive. As you can see, they also have a preview of the document that you have. They also have some more detailed drop downs, like for example the one that you can see here. So they have a lot of these components. You can look up at this on their website for the reference of all the components. But what we are going to use today, we're going to use more of this playground, which allows us to quickly configure and preview a basic flow. So the flow that you want to do, we are going to create it here on the playground, and then you are going to copy it and going to put it in our on our WhatsApp manager to make it work with our chatbots. So as you can see here from their playground, it gives you a very nice playground. You can change the platform. You can also change the theme if you dark mode so that you see the preview if you're on iOS or if you're on Android, because at the time of this video, WhatsApp flows only works on mobile phone and not on their web or desktop version. So we are going to look at this, try to see how we are going to map the flow that we want. More of like we want to take how we have been asking the user for the information into a one flow that you are going to one form, one screen form that user is going to input all the details that you have been asking them before, not in step by step, but just once off using this form. We collect all the information that we need, and then we will go on with our process. So we are going to show them this nice flow, this flow that you want to implement using pywce. So what you're going to do, you're going to flow that you ask them the same details that we have been asking them in the previous video. And then after that, when you get the information, you're still going to show them a confirmation for them to accept, and then our flow will be done. So we have minimalized, we've streamlined this process from this stage of asking user almost like 4 or 5 steps of asking the information to just a single flow where they fill the form to fill all the information that we are be asking them. So to begin with, I'm going to work on this folder in example folder booking flow static. So I've just copied the information that we had in booking stage based, and I just pasted it in the flow static because we want to show you how which parts are going to change when you're working with flows in pywce. So this is what we're going to implement. So our start template is pretty much going to be the same. We're not going to change. We're only going to change where we are going to go. And this is the previous chatbot that we have developed, the stage based. So we want to replace all these all this one by one kind of interaction that we had with the user previously. So we want to remove all this, want to streamline all this in a way where we're going to remove almost like, if I minimize here, we had like four stages where we ask the user for the information. We're going to keep the confirmation and the order complete. So these four is going to be one at the end of the day. So at the end of the video. So that's what we are going to show today, to see how the flow template in pywce Connect is going to help us to achieve what we have been using, almost like four stages to get the same information that we want. So this is all we're going to change, and you can see that the confirmation, like I said, we're going to we're going to remain with this one because we still want to show the user for them to confirm the details that they have filled via the flow. So this is what you're going to do to work on today. At the end of the video, we're going to see how we have changed from these stages to a single water flow. So for now, we're going to work on the playground. We're going to see how we're going to create this preview here. And end of the day, at the end of this playground interaction, we're going to copy our flow JSON. Since I said flow, WhatsApp flows, they're just JSON that you configure. So here, I'm just going to give them a descriptive title of what we want. I'm going to also delete some of the components that are here that you are not going to use, and I'm going to edit some. So the title, we've given the title, just going to give the user a small heading to just say, fill all the details below. You can just put in anything that you want at this point, basically. So other components that we do not want from this sorry, from this playground, we are going to delete them. So if you see here, we ask name, also it ask date here, we ask user for the national ID, and we ask them for the booking time. So we're also going to see which components are going to be appropriate for each of the input that we will need. So we're going to remove this one, and I also need to change here the button text, the message here. Since if we look at our requirements, the button was saying user tips submit. So we are just going to try to follow this as we've done before. More if we're taking this as the user requirements flow that they've given us. So we're going to rename them to submit. So I'm just going to show you how we know we need a certain component. So as I have showed you before, what's up your flow JSON components. So we are going to look at this, and you see which component you want depending on the type of input that you want to take. So for example, we need text input. So if you take a text input component here, we can see that it accepts a number of input types. But for now, we just need the text. And if you see, I think this is also in the later versions, it also took a pattern so that you also include a regular expression, which is also a good thing. Also a good thing in this case. So it's a lot of information that you can read here, uh, and take the information that you need, customize it any way that you need. So for now, we are just going to use very basic components, text input, which is a text. So we just come back here to our playground, and yeah, let's just create our flow that we need. So we are going to look at to look for a short answer. That's the one that we have here on the preview. The preview doesn't support all the components, but yeah, for a basic flow, flow that you need, you can actually bootstrap a flow that you need here and actually preview it. So this is what you're going to do. So I'm just going to explore the name here. I'm just going to ask the user for the first name and ask them for the last name separately, so that our flow we just have quite a number of components. This is just for demo. We just concatenate the names. So we have the short first name and the last name. So we are good to go here. And if we look at the requirements, what else? We have the bet here. That's what we want to do next. So if we look at the add content, we see that we should have a date picker. So we are going to use this. So I'm just going to rename this to birthday. It's actually birthday, user birthday, but for doesn't matter. I'm just going to put birthday, and you can, if you click on the interactive, you can actually on the preview, you can actually see the interactive. So we can also change how to see how to work on, or how it will look on iOS. Just give you a few, if users are going to Also, you have an iOS. Most of them they are going to. So you're just going to see how the different previews is going to be on different devices. So as you can see, this is how it will look like. If you change the theme, this is how it will look like. So I'm just going to stick to Android and then light theme so that it's clear. Okay, so for the birth date, we are good to go. And then the next input that we need to include is the national ID. So this one, like the previous one, is also going to be a short answer, which we ask user for the national ID. Ask user for national ID, and for this one, we can also include the instructions, more of like a hint or a helper text that you're going to show the user. Say, okay, the national ID that we need, use this certain format. So when you receive the information, you can try to take this and then see if the format is the right one that user have entered, or you can use the regex pattern that flows now support. It's up to you. So I'm just going to give the user a simple, and you can see how it shows on the preview there. Okay, so now we're going to look at I think should be the last one, the booking time. So here, the booking time, I think for this example, we're going to use a drop down. That's what we're going to use, so that user selects the time slot that we have given them. We'll see where we're using a drop down, because later on when you're looking at flow endpoint, would want to give the time slot the user selects from the backend, so that will actually show them the time that was booked by others and the time that are free. So we are going to use a drop down. And at the end, this is how the drop down component is going to look like in the preview. So this is the final output. So I'm just going to put very few options here for the drop down. We're just going to say this is a label of time slot, and we are going to just add few hours that you're going to add for testing. So if you can actually play around with the final preview, see the time slot, user can select here the time slot that they want, that we give them. So at the moment it's static, but in the next video, when we look at flow endpoint, you'll see how to pass this dynamical from our backend. So this is how our flow will look like. So from this, we are done. When we see that we are okay, we like what we've created, we can click on copy flow JSON, and now we have the JSON. And this is the same JSON that I'm going to put in the flow JSON file here, that you guys can copy if you want to follow along this tutorial. So this is the final flow JSON. I'm just going to leave it here so that you can copy and paste it on your WhatsApp manager. So with the WhatsApp playground, we are done and we are good to go. So now we can look at the next thing. So if you go into WhatsApp business in WhatsApp manager in flows section, I'm going to link a video in the description below of how you're going to activate the flows. That's another video actually, so that you take a look at it. We don't want to reinvent the wheel. Someone else has already done a good job on explaining how to go around with flows. So here I'm going to add a new flow. You're going to call ours book screen, and you're going to select without endpoint, the default without endpoint. The with endpoint, we are going to do it on the next video. So you're just going to click create here, and WhatsApp is going to give us the default that is shown us on the preview. So we are just going to copy and paste, and if you click on run, you're going to see the same preview as we have seen on the playground. So this is the same preview that we have, even if we change the platform or change the theme. So we have everything here that we need. So we can just format this, but everything here is as we were doing on the playground. So everything here is good to go. This is the final flow that you are going to use. So this is what the user is going to see when they click your flow. So what you are going to do, we will see how the library uses this flow, how we're going to create a flow template, and how WhatsApp is going to render this, and how the library is going to show you how you're going to get the input that the user, all these fields that the user is going to fill. You're going to see how the library is going to give you the final output, or the final information, the final data that the user fills on this form. So everything here is good to go. So we explained about the payload. That's what you're going to look at when you reach there. So now what we now need, as we can see here from our requirements, we think we have done all the or what is being required by the client at this point. So this is the final, and so we can go here on the flows, or I forgot to save. So remember to save your flow so that it's saved, and a flow ID is generated for you. We'll see when you're going back on the flow screen how everything will look like. So here everything is fine. So we are good to go. We can come back on flows and we can see that a flow, our flow has been saved and the flow ID has been generated, and you can see the status of our flow. So here everything has been created. We can say we've met the requirements here. We've done uh, as we're given by the client. So everything here has been has been done. The flow we've created it. Everything here we have created it. So now we can see, now we want to create the flow template. So this is where we are going to remove some of these flow, some of these templates that we had. So let's just rename it to the one that is there in the requirements, and you're going to change the type kind, because here this time it's a flow template. So I'm going to change it, and the confirmation you're going to leave it like that, because after the user field we still want to show the user the confirmation so that they confirm the information that they've given us. And we're going to change the message object here. As you will see, this is the contract for the flow. So the flow template is more like a button template. We just are the fields that are specifically for a flow. So this is the contract which is familiar to the button template or the list template. So the body, just like a button, is going to be the same. This is the message that the user is going to see on the body, on the flow that you're going to see on WhatsApp. So we are just going to change them. And one thing you need to know is that this is going to be shown. It's not going to show in test. It's going to show in production. So we can also include a footer if you want to, but in this case we are not going to put a footer. If you want to, you can just put it and give it any details that you want. So here we're just going to add the name of our flow as it is on WhatsApp Flow Manager. So this is the name of the flow. You're just going to copy it here. You're going to paste it here. And then the other thing that is important that we need is the flow ID. So let me just show here. I'll just go through the to a list of my flows that have been created. Okay, I'm just going to change it. So this is the flows that I have. This is the one that we created. I'm just going to copy the flow ID, and I'm just going to come with it here and paste the flow ID. So this is very important. We need the flow ID. So we are done with the flow template. So the other thing that we need to do, even WhatsApp recommends that after a user fills the flow, give them a confirmation message so that they confirm the information, the details that they've added there. But there's one thing that I've realized with WhatsApp, with the recent version. The recent version of WhatsApp flows, or WhatsApp basically, is that when you fill a flow, even within WhatsApp, you can actually see the details that you have entered as a user. So this used to work. I do not know right now. You can use the default WhatsApp viewing the WhatsApp information, or you can still stick to the old way of showing user the confirmation. So here, I'm just going to create our own. We're going to create a hook for this that will a template hook that will display all this. So going to change the book again to point to the initial flow that we created. So all these variables, we are going to prefill them using a template hook on the confirmation message. So we'll look at how that is done. So that's the next thing that you're going to do. So in terms of hooks in pywce, since the user is fill out the form, we can add an on receive so that we can save the user details, where we can add the path to the hook. We can add an on receive hook that when the user submits, we can do whatever that you want. We can save to the database or anything, send a confirmation email or anything. But you're going to include a template hook here. Since we are just coming from a flow, we can just go straight to filling a template. But if we're going to other stages, we can add an on receive where we save that information, and we show user other templates, and then we then take that information from our persisted storage, can be a session or a DB, and showcase them. But for this basic one, we're just going to create a template hook. So I'm just going to import the hook arg. So this hook arg, every hook will accept a hook arg argument, and it will also return the hook arg. So we can see from here, we're just going to name our function any name we want to give them. You can name it anything that you want, But the only thing is that any hook should accept a hook argument, and it should return a hook object. So this is the contract, or the signature for all the hooks that you want to do. So here is where we want to, I'll just add it to do to save the details that you get here, and also to give the information that you want to fill in the template that we have created. So here, this is where we're going to save user booking details that they filled from the flow. And this is where we also create a render object, which will preview all the all the monster variables that you have included in the confirmation template. So we'll see how we're going to do that. So this is the hook. It's a Python hook. So this is where the business logic comes into play. So you can call your any service here. You can call a notification service. You can call anything. So I'm just going to put it here as return arg. If you want to update, you can update it anything that you want. You can update all the fields of hook arg. But for now, we are just going to return it. We'll show you how to which fields you're going to add. So I'm just going to add a logger here, maybe just to log the information that the user provided. So in terms of pywce, the information that is filled from a WhatsApp flow, you get it in the additional data field on hook arg, just like how we have done here. So the form data is in arg.additional data. This is where the form data is going to be. So I'm going to show you which information you are going to receive here. It's straightforward. You see when you go to the flow that you've added on WhatsApp Manager. So this form data that you are getting here, the additional data that you are getting here, if you come back on our flow, this is the payload that you have here. If you scroll down, the payload here on click action. This is the you can see that the on click action is complete. This is the same payload that WhatsApp is going to send to you. So I'm just going to copy here and paste it here so that we just use it as reference. So here, all the payload, the way the structure it is here, that's how WhatsApp will send it back to your backend. So in pywce, this hook is already done all the processing and took only this JSON from the flow. So you be guaranteed that when the user presses submit or continue or they're done with the flow, they'll get it here. So this is the information that we want to preview in our template. So if you come back here, we are going to import. There's an object to do with dynamic body in pywce that you're going to see. So if you can we just write it here, template data. This is all the data that we are taking from what the user has filled and putting it and matching it with what is in our template that we want to render. This is the template hook. It previews a template. So we are going to match it, and this is the final. So username, the national ID, the time slot, it matches the to what the user has entered in on their flow. So that's it. So here, this will be the final output. So this is the template data. Now we want a way to render this. So this is all the information that the user is going to send, WhatsApp is going to send to us after we have collected all the required information that we have been asking the user from the form. And this is the template data we are creating so that it previews on the template. So for us to render that on the message that you want to send to the user, we need to import one more class, one more object from pywce, that is template dynamic body. So this within it, there's a field called render template payload. It accepts a JSON, and the JSON is going to be the key and the value. It needs to match the ones that are on your template. So after this, we are done. This is the template hook. Everything else will be working. So I'm going to delete this because we do not want it. So after this, we are done. So I'm just going to edit to do here. If you want to save this to the database, this is the good time to save it. So you can save the details if you want to save the details, you want to use them later. After that, we've created our template data and we've rendered them. So this is our template that we needed, and we are done. So after that, we have one more thing left to do. We need our stage to know that this is the template that is responsible for filling those dynamic data. So I'm just going to log this form data here. We'll take a look at the logs later to see how it will look like. But From this point, you are guaranteed to know that it will look like exactly the payload that is coming from WhatsApp. So this is, we are done with the flow template. And I almost forgot, this is very important. The draft needs to be true if you are in development. Otherwise, you can remove the key, or you can just remove the field, or you can just toggle the force. So that's it. So now we need to copy our path to our hook so that we add here, but it is a dotted path. So we are going to remove all the other. So here we're going to paste, we're going to remove all the forward slash. We're going to replace them with the dot. So it's a path to your function. And then we are going to, we need the function name. We want to include it there. So it will be executed dynamically by the library. So after this, we are good to go. This is our complete. This is our new template with a flow. So as you can see, now we have more like three templates only in this file as compared to the old one. If we take a look at the stage based, we had almost like 4 or 6 of them. If we minimize this, that, and that. So let me just put it side by side for you to see how flows simplify business interaction. So from these lines to these lines of code. So everything else to do with asking the user information is pegged within a flow. So after this, we have successfully made the user the inputs. So this is our flow. This is our confirmation. We've added the template, just a rundown of everything that we've done. We've created the business logic here. If we were saving, you could have saved there. Template to render. We have included the dynamic data to render our template, and we have successfully done this. So for us to test, remember, always remember, if you're using the example, always remember to change the template directory and the trigger directory to reflect on the current folder that you are working on. So after that, the configuration of WhatsApp is going to be the same as our previous videos. I'm not going to touch more on these ones. So this is it. We are done. Take a look at one final look at our chatbot. You can see that you've met all the requirements. So one last thing to do is to test and run and to see. So I've just changed the time slot there was a minor issue there with it, so just changed it. So now what we need is not to quickly configure our chatbot. So if we take a look at this, what you're going to receive is the ID, if it is an object like a drop down. So that's why we had to change here. So our ID is underscore. So I'm just going to remove underscores with that. Otherwise, we are good to go and do all the configuration that we need, and then we kickstart our chatbot to see if this flow is going to work as expected. So, as usual, I'm running on local. I'm using Fast API. Feel free to use any other framework that you need, any other library that you need. But my library of choice is Fast API. So, running here in localhost, everything here is working. So now let's see how we are going to move to configuring ng-log. We're just going to do the same steps because right now all these steps are the same. So as you can see, I've already have that running. So let me just try to find a way to put my screen here. So if you put in my screen here, you can see this was our old chatbot where we are asking the user what's your name, enter your national ID, enter your birth year, select the time. This was the old way where we are asking user each and every stage. We're asking them. So this is it. So this is the old boring stage, more like your own USSD. If you're on USSD, you're going to be asked the same thing each and every second. You're asking user for the input. So we are going to see how this one's going to look after we have implemented flows. So let me clear this. So we'll start on a clean slate. So now we want to see how we are. So as usual, I'm just going to show our template and also the message that you're going to see on WhatsApp, how it is rendered on WhatsApp. So our triggers as before, they're going to be the same. We're going to start with the hi at the start with a menu, but you're going to do the same old way. So let's start with the hi. So this is the first stage, the start stage as we had before, where it asks for user consent to initiate booking. So this is it, begin booking. Well, the next stage is going to be initiate flow. So you want to see how our new flow template is going to look like and how it's going to interact. So if we click begin booking, so We're waiting for it. So this is it. So like I said before, if we're in test, WhatsApp will show you this default. It's not going to render the title, the body, the footer like it does for buttons. For template, these are special ones. You're not going to see them. You only see them when you're in production. So if it renders like this, you know that your flows are working. So this is okay. So not worry about this. This is actually perfectly fine. So that button that says start testing your flow, you know that is the one that names that translate to start booking. So if we click, this is the now we're on the real device. So this is how our flow is going to be rendered, just like how we had on our playground or even on WhatsApp Manager. So this is it. We are just going to put all the information that we need, and then we see how we're going to move from there. So we're going to select the birth date, going to put any that we want, and the time slot. This is how the drop down is going to be shown on device. So after that's done, we can press submit and see. We need to see if our template hook is working. So this is it. This is the moment of truth right here. So if you can see here on the terminal you see additional data there. This is a global hook. If you're using the test, if you're using the example, this is a global hook. But if you can see from this is the hook that this is the object, the full object that every hook is going to receive. So from there, you remember we're taking the additional data when you are in our hooks. Remember, we're taking the additional data. In the additional data down there, you can see that it has the information that WhatsApp has sent to us: the national ID, the birth date, the time slot, and the flow token. So that's what we are receiving. So we only collected the information that we want. So this is the good thing of using the pywce library. If you can see on the device, on my WhatsApp chat, the message is come and has been rendered successfully. So that means our hook is working, our flow is working. So at this point, we have nailed our requirements. Everything here is as expected. So this is the good thing about using a pywce. A lot of things they abstracted from you. You're only going to get what you want, which is a good thing. So at this point, like I said, if you click on the message that you get after clicking the submit from your flow, you see the response that the user have entered. So it's still the same thing, but it's a good thing to show the user a confirmation so that they confirm on the details. It might not be everything, but it might be those crucial details that you want the user to take note of. So this is it. Our template data is working. We can say confirm, and after pressing confirm, say thank you for booking with us. And the user, if you enter anything, they'll be taken back to the first main menu. So that's it, guys. We have completed WhatsApp flow. So our next video, we are going to look at flow endpoint, where the time slots they're going to be dynamic. You're going to fetch them from the backend first, and then we show the user. So see you next time, and thank you for watching.